It's their first time home. They want to get into the real estate game, buy their first home. What's your best advice you give them?
Mentally be in the right state of mind.
So I'm a first-time home buyer. I know nothing. I contact you. What's the steps? How do I buy a home? So if you don't qualify, I give you a game plan. I'll lay out the exact steps you need to take so you can buy a home. So
Shoot the ball.
Hey, I'm Tim, and I'm with.
Morning, Cheri. No, I'm Cheri Anderson. I'm a local real estate agent here in Michigan. And I'm at the B2 in some pool here. See? Oh my God.
Good job, hit the ball. Let's go.
So Tim,
Yeah.
you did this, right?
What'd you say?
You're a mortgage broker, right?
Yes, yep. And what I focus on is helping first-time home buyers, also help people refinance their home, take cash out, shorter term, any mortgage-related needs. I definitely can help. And then Cheri, you're a realtor, right?
Yes, I am.
So tell me, what does a realtor do?
A realtor, I can give you the short definition really quick. So a realtor is pretty much someone that assists a buyer or seller within the home buying process. Now I'll give you my version. My version, because I'm a real estate agent, and there's so much more to that job title. I am a counselor, a therapist, you name it. I also there's two types of realtors, right? It could be a listing agent or a selling agent, right? So a listing agent pretty much has a fiduciary responsibility to the seller, homeowner, and then the buyer's agent, which is the selling agent, has a fiduciary responsibility to listen. I don't even know what I do. I just know it's a lot. And also, I connect buyers with sellers, but not only that is that I'm the mutual party when a transaction is being done. So I pretty much coordinate things with the mortgage person, the title, the inspectors. There's so much involved when it comes to buying a house, but that's just a short version of it, I will say.
So I'm a first-time home buyer. I know nothing.
It's my turn.
So I'm a first-time home buyer. I know nothing. I contact you. What's the steps? How do I buy a home?
So in the current state of the market, I know in the past I've heard stories that agents will pretty much drive buyers around and show them houses, and then they picked out a house and then they got their pre-approval letter. However, though, because of the competition with the market, the first step when buying a house is to reach out to your financial planner or someone as Tim, a mortgage lender, and pretty much see what you get a pre-approval for before you actually start shopping. Because we are in the market of selling houses, not breaking hearts, right?
Yes. All right, so it's my turn, your turn?
Yes, your turn.
All right, open table?
Open table.
All right, I'm going to try to go for the salad here.
I'll set that up for you.
So if I'm a seller looking to sell my home, what's the steps? How do I sell my home? How can you help me?
Well, actually, only give you one step of the buying process.
Yeah.
So if we were to go further with buying a house, right? So they'll reach out to you. You will either tell them, hey, you are approved for this amount, or if they're not approved, right? What do you typically do with someone that doesn't qualify at that present moment?
Great. So if you don't qualify, what I do is give you a game plan. Most big banks or online lenders will just say no. I give you a game plan. I'll lay out the exact steps you need to take so you can buy a home. So it's never a no, it's just a game plan. And I take my time and educate you because, let's face it, it's a big purchase. It may take a little time, a little bit of work. But as long as you're willing to do the work and you follow the exact steps, home ownership can be achievable to anybody.
Yeah. So then he TO'd that person back to me after you worked on getting your credit together, saving some more money, whatever was necessary in order for you to get the pre-approval. Then from there, what we do, the fun part, we go shopping for houses. And that's so much fun, showing clients houses and their excitement with viewing multiple houses is so much fun. That is the easy part. The next part is once you find a house you like, you'll submit an offer. Once you submit that offer, then what do you do next? No, I do it. You sign, you read it, then I'll send it to the title company, back to the lender, right? The purchase agreement, and then also all parties involved in order to get the deal closed. And at that present time, you just wait to closing. And then the steps with that's a whole nother story, but we're gonna get it back to Tim there.
It's very important to work with a top realtor or a top lender to be on your team. Having a realtor that knows the market It can tell you exactly what to offer, and hold your hand throughout the process can make all the difference between you getting your home in your dreams or not getting that home in your dreams.
True. So I was reading an article, right? And I want to say 8 times out of 10, when someone has a bad experience with selling a house, or no, not even selling a house, buying a house, it's typically because of the mortgage lender, banker, whoever they paired up with, that creates that bad experience for that person. So it's really important that you vet the person you work with, you ask a lot of questions, you make sure you feel comfortable with their knowledge, that they are advising you in the appropriate way. And then also, I want to just go over this with you. So when you are doing issuing out a pre-approval, what are some of the documentation that the potential buyer needs to have prepared in order for them to actually get the pre-approval issued to them?
To get pre-approved, you first want to fill out your loan application. This application can be done over an app, it can be over the phone or online. And some of the documents you would need if you're W-2, the last 30 days of pay stub, your last 2 years of W-2, and then your last 60 days of bank statements. Now, of course, if you're self-employed, it'd be everything except we do the last 2 years of your tax returns. So whatever situation you're in, I'll tell you the documents you need, and we can get that verified. And the good news, we get everything up front, so when you find a home, we can get this wrapped up for you in under 3 weeks. So I want to close fast and smoothly for you.
So yeah, I'm gonna go back to your question too, as far as what's the selling process for a homeowner. And so an unspoken step when it comes to selling a house, a lot of people don't tell like homeowners that what they should do, especially if you're for sale by owner. What you should do is you should make sure that you pair up with a title company, because you want them to run the pre-title before you sell your house. And that pretty much helps you in the long run, because that will make sure there is no issues with the title in order to get the clear to close on that property. So I have had a situation where someone had their house on the market for a substantial amount of time. I was on the buy side, and we submitted an offer, and something came up with title close to closing, and that problem wasn't rectified for like 3 or 4 months. So it's really important to make sure that you do pre-title before listing a house, because you want to make sure there's nothing in the way of you actually selling the house. And then the next step from there is pretty much having someone like me, a vetted professional, go into the house and tell you what you need to do as far as like cleaning the house or decluttering the house, because that's very, very, very important when it comes to people walking through the property, and then also when pictures are being taken. And then after you have decluttered, cleaned your house, and you have staged it in the correct manner, the next thing will be to take the photos. After you take the photos, you put it on the MLS system and then let the MLS system do their work. But what I like to do personally for all my clients, I take time and I prospect for buyers too, because you just don't know. You can never get too much exposure on a house. And then also with social media, we have platforms where we can pretty much boost it, so on and so on. That's pretty much like a quick little rundown there. I still like all the stripes on the table.
This is a hard cut.
Listen, he humbled me real quick because I told Tim that I was going to beat him earlier on this video, but he is kicking my butt.
I missed it.
Okay, so don't judge me because I'm really not great at playing pool, but I'm still just playing. No, practice makes perfect, right?
You may not be good at playing pool, but you're good at
selling houses.
There we go.
Oh, snap. You see, that was a horrible job. But...
So, Cheri, my lease is coming up in 30 days. You think we can get pre-approved and find a home in 30 days, or we need a little bit more time?
It's definitely possible. At the same time, it depends on, I would say it depends on like your buying power, right? Mm-hmm. Would you agree?
Yeah.
Because it is possible. I have shopped and someone fell in love with the first house. You know, we call those one and dones. But if someone has a really strict budget, sometimes it can be more complicated.
Yeah, it definitely comes down to like your wants and needs, your area, your buying power, those factors. But generally speaking, we can probably get it done in 30 days. If they really need a home and they're in a jam.
Well, I would say it's going to take longer. I would always tell somebody at least have a cushion of anywhere from 30 to up to 60 days sometimes, because you have to consider it takes time to look. That can take anywhere from like the first day all the way up until a month. Sometimes it's longer if you're really picky or not. But also, It just depends on the person. I'm not saying you guys can't close the loan in 30 days. When I'm saying something,
As in finding a home in 30 days.
right, finding a home
Can be challenging. In a competitive market. Depend on the area.
But I know lenders that, you know, if they go through underwriting, they can close with, it's same as cash, they can close at what, 14 days? I have seen some records like 8 and 9 days of closing the property. So, I mean, it's a stretch, but that has to be somebody that fell in love with that first house. Oh, I finally got one.
What would be your best advice for someone that looking to get into the home buying game?
I'm like standing up for him. So my best advice would be for somebody that's getting into the home game first, like buying a home or for investment purposes.
It's their first time home. They want to get into the real estate game, buy their first home, get their feet wet. What's your best advice you can give them?
Mentally be in the right state of mind.
Okay.
Like make sure you have done your research, make sure you have asked the right questions. Because I know a lot of times people buy their first home and they're just trying to find something. But you want to make sure, I tell my clients as if they're family members or friends, if you buy a house, like you want to make sure it's in an area that's going to appreciate your value. So just knowing the little stuff as far as like, it's a big investment. So you just want to make sure you're doing it the correct way. And I think being in the right state of mind will help with that, you know? So that'll be the best advice I would give somebody.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. You want to have your mindset and then your expectations set. Right. So if you budgeted, 30 days to look for a home, you want to spend that 30 days really looking and comparing and things like that. And that's not something you want to rush. And I agree on finding a good area. It's still a district, consider your work, your commute, all that stuff matters.
So if I don't put that in, don't judge me, because I know people going to be in the comments, just don't judge me, because I'm not good at this. And this humbled me. See, oh my God.
Good job, hit the ball. You hit the ball. You hit the ball, son. You're doing good. I'm not good either.
You just told us you was great.
I'm not good.
That was so close. Okay, so as far as, I want to ask you a question about,
yeah, go ahead.
What do you think as far as like with mortgage rates and stuff, and then the feds, I just read an article that they're going to increase the feds basis point by another 0.225%, right? How do you feel about that? Like, what do you think is going to happen with mortgage rates?
Yeah, great question. So, the Federal Reserve did raise the fund rate. That's the amount of money they loan money to the banks, and banks loan banks money. So that went up, but your direct interest rate, like for a mortgage, did not go up 0.25, a quarter of a point. And then the good news is that inflation is now under control, but the Federal Reserve kind of looks at it in the rearview mirror, so they're looking back. So by looking back, it's going to be a couple more months, and then they're going to start tapering back, which means they're going to start lowering it and then roll the curve. So this is a really great opportunity for you that to start getting ready to get into the market, because the rates are starting to tumble. Because at this point now, inflation is right around 2% where they want it, but when the Federal Reserve looks, back a couple of months, they're seeing it at 2.5. So we're over that hump, and rates are going to fall. So it's going to be a great opportunity. Lower rates, more inventory, build equity wealth, stop paying your landlord. So this is a great opportunity. And it's always a good opportunity to buy. No matter if the rate's up or down, you can always refinance. So don't let a rate stop you from finding a home of your dreams. Yeah, affordability is very important. And sometimes if you're already a little tight on your budget, and a higher interest rate could be a little bit harder on your affordability. But think about it. A home appreciates 3 to 5% every year. That's if you do nothing to it. It will go up 3 to 5%. And then when you can always refinance, so you can always fix your rate.
Wait, I'm gonna stop you there.
Okay.
That's not always true, because it depends on the area.
It does depend on the area, but I'm talking on average.
Okay.
On average, you look at all the homes. Yeah, you can pick out, we call them outliers, 1 or 2 places. But generally speaking, how many people have have bought a home and then said, oh, I lost money, or I didn't make any money? They all make money on appreciation. And they have a place to live. It's all around great investment.
I see other sides, because I have known people buy a house and they're just trying to get out of the house and break even. So
if you buy a home and then a year later you want to sell it, then you might be at that point where you're breaking even.
At some point you gotta give me while I'm doing the shutting. This side, like, Okay, so he's gonna get stuck on the last ball, the 8 ball, and that's gonna be.
I can take care of this now. Which I shouldn't hit the 8 ball. That's sloppy. In terms of realtors, some people are concerned like who pays a realtor? Do I have to pay the realtor, or does the client? Who pays the realtor? Because that's I'll always get that question for first-time homebuyers.
That's a great question. And for standard-wise, which is typically mostly seen, is that the seller will typically pay the commission. There are certain situations where it's negotiated a contract that the buyer pays the commission, and that's worked into the price. But industry standard, I would say the sellers typically pay the commission.
Okay, you hear that? So if you're a first-time home buyer, the seller will pay the realtor commission. That's not something you have to pay or worry about. Mm-hmm. What you have to worry about is finding that perfect home.
To piggyback off of what Tim just said, so it is like you definitely should want to work with a realtor because we pretty much work with you for free, and we do get some type of compensation at the end of the transaction. At the same time, it's more beneficial to you because you have someone that's solely working in your best interest, and that's going to advise you, especially with you being a first-time home buyer. Like me personally, I tell my clients if we walk through a property and I know like, oh, this has like foundation issues, right? Because there's a certain skill set and knowledge that I have that a first-time home buyer don't. I'll tell you, like, this house is trash. You shouldn't even buy it, right? Because, like, I'm advising them as if I would my family member. You want to work with somebody that's going to be honest with you, transparent, and things like that. So,
great. Yeah. Nice. There you go. So you're making some shots, say you're not good. Oh!
No, I hit that at the wrong angle. I'm trying to think of a really great question. Like, what are some questions that a buyer should ask a lender or a broker before even working with them?
If you're not a first-time home buyer, you still want to ask, what kind of programs? Secondly, you want to do a little bit of Googling. Look at their reputation, look at their reviews. Because not all lenders do government-backed loans well. Not all lenders have non-qualified programs. So there's different situations, but some good questions to ask the lender would be, what are your calls? What are your turn times, as in closing? And then after that, I always recommend maybe getting one more second opinion. So don't just talk to one lender, which is your bank or checking account. Talk to 2 lenders and just see who you gel with. It's a relationship. So you want someone you're able to call that has good customer service, answer your questions, explain things. So that's the biggest thing. What programs you have to offer, how fast can you actually close, and then, like I said, talk to a couple other lenders and see what kind of reviews they have, what other clients are saying about them.
I have worked with clients that, well, it's partially my job to make sure that you have the right lender that you pair with before going out and shopping for houses, because it can be very disheartening when you're out shopping for houses and then you come to find out you can't really afford that home, and you get some type of denial letter, right? If you can't really afford the home because the house, the loan go through underwriting again before it actually closes. And I've had that happen to clients, like they have sent in their bank statements, they have sent them partial documents, and this was like when I first started real estate. And that's why I pretty much, before I go take someone shopping for houses, I reach out to a lender to make sure that they verify all their documents, because we will hate to put the seller in that position where they take the house off the market for a buyer that can't really qualify. And it's like I said, it's very discouraging to a buyer when they think they have the funds or think they have this buying power when they really don't.
Yep, so that would never happen with me like other lenders. Some other lenders would just run your credit and give you something called pre-qualification. Well, we give you something called a pre-approval. A pre-approval means we dig a little deeper by verifying your income, assets, liabilities, and debts to where you can go out and shop with confidence. So when you are under contract, we have done most of the heavy lifting already. So now you can relax. We just update a few pay stubs, bank statements, and get this loan closed for you.
Yeah. Don't even record. Stop recording. be hitting stuff like that.
You over here missing the balls.
I don't know where my focus is.
And then the good news, we do have programs with zero down payment, grants, down payment assistance, all kinds of programs to help you. And the biggest thing is just having a conversation with the lender, being honest, share everything. Don't hide anything. Let us know, and we can